Business 360, and my name is Blyden Ukem. Asian stock market, what the events unfolding are. We'll look at we'll also talk about the Nigerian pictures of businesses, and Apple supplier Foxconn has pulled out of a $19.5 billion deal with Indian mining giants plans to offset the facility and it's a setback to the nation's technology industry goals. However, now in Nigeria currently a PRC, NUPRC added that the gas reserves in Nigeria could last. Abuja, at the Nigerian Association for Energy Economics 16th Annual International, said it was important to note that oil and gas would continue to guarantee energy security for Nigeria's massive citizens have allegedly carted away the recent reinstalled airfield lighting systems at the domestic runway 18 concerns in Nigeria's busiest airports. According to reports, those who carted away the lighting system of Nigeria's workers connived with outsiders to steal the airport lighting equipment. Meanwhile, investigation had commenced to unravel those responsible. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has revealed that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited has cancelled their pre-subsidy removal agreement tickets for premium motor spirit PMS, also known as fuel, which the NNPC didn't deliver before the subsidy removal. Al Hassan said the outstanding PMS had been paid for by its members during the subsidy regime, standing fuel yet to be delivered. He disclosed that the NNPC intends to sell the PMS the market has already paid for at a new rate and asked to refund the previous payments made during the subsidy regime. Well, the debacle continues and quite concerning from that angle. The special advisor to the president on revenue, Zash Adedeji, stated this. He said the government would double the country's total annual revenue, which is currently below 15 trillion naira, by deepening the Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited, the Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency NEMASA, and the Nigerian Customs Service in a bid to achieve its objectives. He said the President Bola Tinubu will go on a short break. When we return, up next would be Global Economies, talking about economic statistics. Welcome back. It's Business 360. My name is Blyden Ukem. Now to the economic calendar, talking about data releases all around the world and the economic statistics from Europe to Africa and Asia. The economic calendar. Let's look at the expected data releases for today, Tuesday, July. In Great Britain, retail sales monitor year-on-year for June came out at 4.2%, previous standings 3.7%. As highlighted with rate, at 1:30 a.m. in the morning, the Westpac Consumer Confidence Change as at 2:30 a.m. in the morning index level. Let's look at further in the day what the calendar also depicts. At the early hours of the morning and afterwards were up 8%, indicating that for May, unemployment had moved slightly higher in Great Britain. Also further in the afternoon, learned by 12 p.m. in Zambia, manufacturing production year-on-year would be out for May. Previous standing was 3.4%. But early hours of the morning, as at 10 a.m. in the morning, economic sentiment index for July in Germany came out at a level point, 14.7 points. So looking at data across Europe, let's move deeply into the UK unemployment rate. The unemployment rate in the United Kingdom rose to 4% in March to May 2023, the highest level since the last quarter of 2021, with market expectations of 3.8%. According to rulings and standings, one man had done certain things in different ways, but not had answers. Company began to question their fate in Great Britain. The number of unemployed increased by 77,000 to 1.37 million, driven by people unemployed for up to 12 months, while employment levels rose by 102,000 and 125,000 advanced. The largest increase seen outside of the COVID-19 pandemic and above forecast 7.1%. U.S. inflation understandings regarding the job rates in the U.S. Let's listen to Ira Epstein as he has more to offer regarding the June job rates in the U.S. Ira Epstein.
And the report shows an interesting fact. Number one, we're seeing a reduction in non-farm payroll new jobs down to 209,000, well under the expectation of 240 to 225,000 jobs. That's good. The negative is that the average hourly earnings, both month over month and year over year, are beating expectations and continuing to climb. That puts the Fed in a position to say, we took a look, we see things going correctly for the overall jobs gain, but we still have the wage inflation. We go another 25 basis points. We take a hard look at how July jobs report, August comes out, and at the September meeting, we take another look-see to make a decision. Do we go one more time after the July hike or not?
In perspective, the annual inflation rate in Mozambique fell for a third month to 6.81% in June 2023, down from 8.23% in the prior month, and hitting its lowest point since March, and transportation. Additionally, health prices slumped. Conversely, prices rose much faster for miscellaneous goods and services, restaurants, hotels, and cafes. Education and houses were down by 0.58% in June, the second consecutive month of deflation, and the most marked since June last year, amid lower prices for tomatoes at a negative 8.1%, dried fish negative 2.3%, lettuce negative 11.9%, coconuts negative 5.3%, cabbage negative 12.9%, kale negative 4.5%, and mackerel negative 1%. Report from Mozambique and Statistical Outlook within the country. The standings was at 11.77% as of July 2022, and inflation had moved higher to 12.1% before hitting 11.83% in October 2022, dropping to 9.78% as of January this year, and further going slightly upward to 10.82% and 9.61% in April this year, and currently 6.8%, indicating improvement in the economy of Mozambique. In Tanzania, Tanzania's annual inflation rate softened for the fifth month in a row. To over 1 year, inflation was primarily driven by a further slowdown in prices of food and non-alcoholic beverages in May, and such as unprocessed food and energy eased to 1.7% in June, the lowest since July 2018, from 2% in the prior month. On a monthly basis, consumer prices edged up by 0.1% in June, after rising by 0.2% in the. According to statistics from Tanzania, inflation in the country stood at 4.5% as of July 2022, going upward to 4.9%, but not the highest inflationary pressure level compared to most African countries. As at January this year, inflation had hit 4.9% before dropping slowly to 4.3% in April 2023, and 3.6% slowdown on inflation in Tanzania, indicating improvement in the economic state of the country and the prices for commodities in Tanzania. Oil markets react to domestic geopolitical uncertainty. Power prices remain high. Well, it would be the conversation from the S&P Global Insights. But we'll go on a quick break. When we return, commodity market, foreign exchange, and stock market would be next. Don't go anywhere. Well, welcome back. It's Business 360. My name is Vladimir Kim, and we're looking at the commodity markets, beginning with the metals perspective. Gold trades steadily on Monday as traders digest Fed speak and Chinese stimulus news. Larry Shova explains this. Let's hear from Larry.
Gold futures will carry over from Friday's BLS report, but also overnight disappointing performance from both consumer and producer price information from China. Is the economy faltering? Is there a risk of deflation? So goes the news flow questions. News flow, ongoing fund liquidation, ETFs now down to a 3 3/4 month low. Get into the mid to late session. Futures did attempt a snapback, trading around both sides of unchanged into the late session. Factors include 4 Fed speakers today. Also, inflation expectations in the United States hit a 1.5-month high per the 10-year inflation. In Japan.
That's a conversation regarding gold and the metal market. Let's move to the market then and see what the prices are after the closure yesterday and a perspective from Larry Shova. The market this morning, the metal market. The metal market this morning has shown the price of gold at $1,936 per ounce, gaining 11.44 points. Some volatility for gold this morning, but for silver, no slight volatility in it. 3,664 Chinese yuan per ton is the price of steel. Iron ore has dropped 4.5 points, a negative 4% this morning, $108 per US crude first, and Brent, which is Nigeria's price benchmark. Crude oil this morning, US crude, WTI crude, 73, which is Nigeria's price benchmark. The current price is $78 per barrel, gaining just slightly this morning, a 0.42% appreciation. Natural gas, gasoline, heating oil, 2% decrease. The current price for coal is $133 per ton. To the agricultural market. The price of soybeans, wheat, lumber, palm oil, cheese, milk. Soybeans current price this morning, $1,519 per bushel, gaining 11.25 points, a 0.75% appreciation. For wheat at $648 per bushel, gaining 12.73 points, 2% appreciation. Asian ringgit per ton is the price of palm oil in the international market. So talking about the markets, the FX market now, foreign exchange. The Australian dollar futures declined throughout most of Monday's session yesterday, but Bob Icino is here to give us outlook on the Australian dollar. Let's hear from Bob.
In the currency quadrant today, taking a look at the September Australian dollar futures, which had a nice midday bounce. And by midday, I want to make sure I clarify this. We're talking about a little bit later in the Japanese session for FX, in toward about the early stages of the New York session. We actually had the Aussie dollar lower by over 1%, 1.02% or 66 basis points. On the high today, 67.11, only up 2 basis points. It was barely any higher than yesterday's close of 67.09.5. The Australian dollar.
Thank you, Bob, for the perspective from yesterday's market, and it set the tone to what could happen in today's market. Let's move quickly to the market this morning and see the perspective of the majors. The euro against the US dollar remains in the morning market, but the significant difference is so low. Pound against the US dollar, it's 1.28 point mark. Let's also look at the state of things regarding the naira against these majors. The international and exchange window, or what many would call the investors and exporters window, indicates that 786 naira equals 1 US dollar, a drop fund. For the euro against the naira, current price is 849 naira equaling 1 euro. Again for the euro over the naira at 6.96 point, a 0.83% appreciation. For the pounds to the naira, current price is 990 naira to 1 pound at the international exchange window, a gain of 4.4. The parallel market, and see naira's performance in the local parallel market, black market, over The majors, the dollar, the pounds, and the euro. Rate and selling rates 790 naira to $1. For the pounds to naira, it is 1,030 naira, equaling £1 at the black market rate, buying rate, and selling rate 1,010 naira to £1. The euro to naira indicates 863 naira to €1 at the buying rate, and 848 naira to a euro at the selling rate. The cryptocurrency market would 0.84% decline. Current price for Bitcoin is $30,516 for the price of one Bitcoin. Ether following suit, 11.2 points. Market is moving quite fast. A negative 0.61% decline for Ether. $1,880 equals one Ether. Let's quickly lose today after Wall Street snapped a 3-day decline as several U.S. central banks officials said they will likely raise interest rate further to bring down inflation. But the end of the current monetary policy tightening cycle is getting close. Investors also assess data showing Australian consumer and business sentiment improved marginally, while awaiting key U.S. inflation data later this week. Also, let's quickly look at the Nigerian stock market and the indices at the close of yesterday's market this morning. Well, the capital market closed strong as most of the companies in 851.2 billion naira. Investors in the Nigerian capital market gained that amount at the end of trading yesterday. This followed the growth in market capitalization from 34.32 trillion naira to 35.17 trillion naira after 5 hours of trading yesterday. The All-Share Index rose by 2,583.81 basis points to close at 62.03 billion naira in 14,584 deals. Let's look at the top gainers. MRS topped the gain at 109 naira 45 kobo from 99 naira 50 kobo per share. To the bottom losers, I will set to end the closure on this one. From a Deku tops to the losers table. Here we draw the curtain in today's edition of Business 360. My name is Blyden. Okay.